think he took what he could get, because we talked about the other day. Like,
Giants couldn't give him a little more in incentives. Did you see what he would have to do to reach those?
But my
It'd
thing,
be a hell of a season.
This is my thing.
They
though.
couldn't give him like $2 million.
This is my thing. If you're the Giants, why? Did you have to?
I guess he agreed, but damn.
I'm just
That's incentives.
But if you're the Giants, anything over the franchise tag, do you have to do any of that? Nah. So that's kind of how I looked at it. I'm like, I don't love it. I don't think Saquon necessarily won anything, but I do feel like if, in terms of hanging your head on something, if you're Saquon, you look at it and say, man, the incentives at least takes it more than what I would have ever been able to accomplish on the franchise tag this year. You weren't going to get a multi-year deal anyways because the tag, like that deadline had already passed. So at least you salvage it by getting a $2 million signing bonus. So you got that up front to walk around with. Then you got some incentives on the back end of this thing. But yeah, I mean, he ain't have a ton of leverage. He couldn't have set out. If you set out, we just talked about who they brought in, James Robinson. They already didn't pay Daniel Jones. So what was he going to do? And we talked about all the running backs that were on the Zoom call. We talked about all these running backs that, are having little rumblings, or how can we change the dynamic? What can we do differently? Well, you still got 7 years left for this CBA. So you're handcuffed in terms of making major moves outside of every single running back. And we talked about how hard that can get. If every single running back decided to come together and say, we're not going to do this in order to help these small handful of players get paid, it was just going to be too many moving pieces to actually support that.
I just thought the incentives could be a little bit better.
Man, if I'm the Giants, I'm just trying to figure out, why did you pay it? You wanted to make them happy, I guess, so you gave them the little extra. But other than that, it's like, why? Because you did not need to do it. You had all the cards in your hand.
Yeah, I would have done it to make him happy. I think that's worth
Why did you give him 15 then?
Whatever amount. No, well, that's incentives though too.
What
if it was like 12 or 1,300 yards, like double-digit touchdowns.
I'm just saying, you see how the slippery slope goes, though. When you say, I would have done that to keep him happy, it's like, well, he really wanted. What if he wanted 15 mil? That would have made him really, really happy. If you the Giants.
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't seem like they were gonna switch off their annual per year number. But if you're gonna do incentives and you're putting these certain milestones, hey, you could have $900K. For that year, he could have given him like two.
But why?
I'm not saying it had to be anything drastic.
I'm just saying, why? I don't see it. Why? Be tough in terms of the business side of it. If you're ownership, not Saquon. I mean, for Saquon, you want to get what you can get. As a fan, we wanted to get what he can get in certain elements of it. But we want the organization to compromise their whole structure, right? That's part of the whole, like, all the running back market anyways right now.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, I guess an extra $1 million wouldn't have
hurt it.
No, yeah. I don't think it, especially if he would have had that type of year.
I'm with you, bro. But every time we say it like that, my whole thing is just like, that's a part of the whole issue with the running back market. To just be like, well, they could have gave him an extra $1 million. It's like, yeah, they could have given him extra $5 million to make it 15, and that ain't gonna kill nothing. But when we talk about just the running back position, it's like, why are we giving them boys like that? We ain't gotta pay them like that. At least that's the current method right now.
Yeah.
Sucks either way, though. I'm with you, though. Pay the man more. Pay him. You already know how my energy is. I wanted him to get paid. I wanted him to get more money. But it's like, I get why they don't have to pay anything other than what they was going to pay him. So, like, yeah.
I'm not necessarily... It's weird because they added the incentives.
That's what makes it weird.
Once I saw the type of year that he would have to hit to get that $900K, I'm like, damn, that's an amazing year. Like, that's you not having any injuries, staying healthy, all that.
And they said that's only worth an extra $900.
That's what I mean. Like, give him at least $2 million for that type of year.
But why is that all of a sudden worth $2 million to you?
It feels like $2 million. Well, the nature of the running back position is there's a lot of uncertainty with it.
Okay.
Injuries, wear and tear, drop off in play as you get older. So, if he achieves all those numbers that would make Saquon Barkley having like a really solid season, then it's worth it.
So where do you draw that?
Maybe we got to give running backs very highly incentive-laced deals. Maybe that's the solution.
Maybe we'll see. I just feel like it's just it seems like crazy though to just hear this convo today, whereas talking about the running back market a week ago, and we're like, yo, how much should they get? How much do you pull from this to make sure that gets that? And every single time you broke it down yourself, you said of all the positions, that's the last position you would ever pay.
I know, but these incentives you're paying after the fact.
Right.
Whereas if you're doing the whole contract up front, this many per year, no incentives, you're giving that money almost as a projection. And these running backs aren't holding up to their projections. They haven't, at least.
But a lot of players in positions in this league don't hold up to their projections. It's just running backs get penalized the most for it. We've seen bust at wide receiver. We've seen bust at quarterback. We've seen bust at O-line. We've seen bust on defense. We just hold running backs more accountable, and we say, you know what? We got enough info. We feel like this works to the method that we wanted to work. You guys deserve to not get paid more right now.
That's tough, though, because I think a lot of those receivers or even quarterbacks, for the most part, do hold up in terms of availability, being out there, producing. Whereas
I hear what you're saying,
the guys
man.
we've talked about with running back, they're out of the league now, basically.
I mean, I hear what you're saying.
The four guys, right?
I hear
The
what
top
you're
four
saying.
guys.
I do hear what you're saying. I just think that the way we view the quarterback position, if you're not a top 5 guy, did you really live up to your contract? Because we're talking about these dudes and the impact they have on them. And we will talk about how Daniel Jones, who's not nowhere near top 5 at his position, is worth more to his team than the guy that is top 5 at his position in terms of Saquon. So that's why for me, I'm like, we can't act like he's living up to that deal.
The sad part is Daniel Jones isn't getting paid top 5 quarterback money.
Right.
That's the sad part of
And
the whole
it's just
situation.
and it just so happens to be 30 mil more than the other position where we know that this dude is top 5 at that. But, you know, that's just the market it is right now. But that's the part where I'm just like, it's just crazy to hear like the argument one way or the other when we're now talking about like, do you make it more incentive based versus guaranteed money? But the argument still goes back to, are they going to survive it? And then, okay, if we do it all as a 1-year incentives or however we would construct this thing, because I do like the incentive convo. I do.
I don't think the running back should necessarily be happy about that, though.
Why would they? That goes back to the whole purpose of guaranteed money.
Yeah, right. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for multi-years and security because
everybody
they're
else,
getting a contract based off what they already did, all the work that they put in.
And technically, a lot of the other positions do the exact same thing. These other positions where they get the guaranteed money, they're not saying that, hey, you got to prove it again before we guarantee this portion. The guaranteed money is for what we've already seen from you. And now the rest of it's like, yo, all right, can you go out here? We think you're capable of doing more, obviously, of that. But it's still a certain portion of guarantee that was warranted from their previous work. Running backs, it's like, yo, we're talking about taking that part away and just giving them the balloon number. That's the whole L. Bell argument. Get your $70 million deal, but only 10 is guaranteed. And then from there, we'll just see on a year in and year out basis.
Yeah, I was shocked to see Saquon signed it.
Yeah.
But you're right. I don't think he had many other options.
He didn't, yeah. That's my thing, man.
You can sit out. You can just sit out the whole season.
Man.
That's what it looks like Josh Jacobs is going to do.
And that's dangerous. It's dangerous. We've seen it. Because if you do it by yourself and all the other running backs are not going to do it with you, then you're elbow. That's what you become essentially, man. To me, like you said, we talked about it. The running back little like pseudo union thing gives them action if they can all come together on that. But it's doubtful because of what we talked about in terms of just so many guys at that position and not all of them being in that type of getting paid lane, that it doesn't make sense for all those dudes to sit out because all them dudes aren't going to reach those type of heights. Mm-hmm. And you still got time.
Paid.
Yeah.
4 years, $50 million.
Come on now.
That's stupid.
But why is it stupid?
Absolutely stupid.
He's worth it. For the position, right? You said it yourself, man.
Cole Kmet.
He plays tight end. Tight end is not running back, bro.
Yeah, but
what?
Even at the tight end position.
What was his numbers last year? Let's just pull up his numbers.
All right. I mean,
that's the market then, bro. He's getting paid.
You're right. Dawson Knox got a bag
all right.
too.
Moose about to get paid too. Yes.
Pat Fryman's gonna get $15 million.
Moose gonna get the exact same convo, bro. And we're gonna be sitting here doing what? Praising it. You're not gonna praise if Moose get the same deal that Dawson Knox, the same deal that Cole Kmet. It's gonna be in that same ballpark. Heck, it might be more because he's getting paid last of the group. Mm-hmm.
I like Moose.
You not feeling that?
Yeah. I mean, we gotta keep him. We gotta keep him.
No, I know we gotta keep him. You ain't feeling the number though. You said it yourself, the cap going up and everything, man.
We'll see. We got a lot of guys to pay on offense.
We absolutely do.
I would prioritize Muth over Najee, though, if it came down to that.
Ooh, talk spicy
That's not even.
today.
That's not even
Talk
a question.
spicy?
Yeah, that's not even a question.
Okay. Who's
Cole
been
Kmet versus
hold on,
Najee,
hold on. Najee versus Muth. Who's been more impactful to the team? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Najee.
But yeah, we both agree that we would pay Boo first, though. This is the day old problem, man. This is what we talk about.
I'd say it'd be arguable last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it'd be arguable last year. First year for sure, Najee.
Yeah,
But you combine the 2 years, then I'd take Najee as a whole.
for sure. No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
Muth, good safety valve for
Yeah.
the quarterbacks last year. Mitch Kenny, whole position uncertainty and stuff. Like Muth had a really good year,
Mhm.
and then Najee obviously started off slow, but then came
hot
on
at
strong
the
second
end.
half. So I think I think you could go back and forth between
Yeah.
the two last year, but
Because it's
first year for sure Najee.
But it's a good combo because it's not the full-on Saquon Daniel Jones combo, but to an extent, it's like we know what Najee has done these first 2 years here. We know what Pat has done. Both have produced, but we definitely could feel like, Najee on field has given us more, has meant more. But when we're talking about who we're going to pay, who would you pay long-term, and who would you rather run up more money committed to, we would all, or the majority of us are going to say move.
yeah, it's not even a question.
Yeah. We're like, between the potential, between the way it's going to age, between the production, between just availability, it's like, I just think that age is better.
People are going off against Muth right now.
Oh, no.
Ryan McPherson, Najee
Lord.
over Muth. Muth lost us 2 games in 2021. Najee has won us some. Wow. He did drop that dot from Ben in the Vikings game.
It was not a drop. It's not a drop.
That hit him right in the hands. And then, he's talking about the Lions game.
Didn't he have catches in that last game, too?
Yeah, he fumbled it at the end, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, one fumble and 1 catch. He had more production than just 1 fumble. I know y'all be trying to put that on him. He did have a bad play, but he ain't lose the game. He had a bad play.
Well, I said I would take Najee over Muth in that 2021 season, but then I think it's closer last year between the two. Maybe I'd lean Muth, but overall, Najee has been more impactful first 2 years. Going forward, if you had to make a bet, I think most would say Freiermuth.
Yeah,
I would. I'd bank on that.
I would as well, even though Najee has been the more productive player the first 2 so far.
Yeah. And Najee could even be more productive than Muth,
He
at least in
definitely
these
could,
next 2 or 3 years, but
does that change how you feel?
Yeah.
It doesn't change it, right?
yeah. Because finding a Muth, a top 5-6 tight end, is way harder to find than a running back putting up top 10 production.
And which position do you feel like you're guaranteed for 5 years? After I make this deal,
Yeah, you're seeing Kelsey.
Come on, bro.
Playing all world into his early 30s, mid 30s. Tony Gonzalez, we looked up his stats.
Mm-hmm.
He's putting up 900 yards.
Was it 37, 38 years old, man?
37, 38.
Yeah.
Antonio Gates was playing a while. Hell, Jimmy Graham just re-signed with the Saints.
You seen it, right? I say, Jimmy, you still getting it in. Let's go. Get you another one. But that's my whole, like, and this is why it's like crazy when we talk the running back market. Because as much as I advocate, as much as I want them to get paid, at the same time, from a business standpoint, I get why you don't want to commit that type of money.
Oh, yeah.
But it just looks crazy when we talk about a Cole Kmet versus a Najee, and you're looking at Cole Kmet's deal, and you're saying to yourself, has Cole Kmet produced to the same level of Najee Harris? But because of the position that he plays versus the position that Najee plays, Najee's deal is not going to get anywhere near that.
Yeah,
I can't 100% say that, but all signs are pointing towards it not being anywhere near that. Because you said his was what, 15 per?
Who?
Kmet.
No, 4 for 50. So it's more than Barkley. What's that? 12 and a half?
All right.
Yeah, 12 and a half per year right there. I guess you'd have to look at the guarantees and stuff. But still, I can almost guarantee right now, Cole Kmet, and this is probably what the Bears are doing. They're trying to pay him ahead of time.
Yep.
Before he breaks out or anything. I can almost guarantee you Cole Kmet is not breaking out like that. He's never going to be a top 5-6 tight end.